What's up, y'all? It's T-Turn. Today we're gonna be looking at more Paradox Pokemon for the Indigo Disk, which is just a month away, and we're gonna start with the future one. And so it goes like this. First, we got this giant horn at the center of its body, connected to this beam, and then 4 giant spikes around its body. But it's also got this glowing energy throughout its body, on the insides of its shells, at its center, and around its spikes. It is a paradox form of what a future cloister would look like. It's got some sneakiness going on. Why is one of its eyes out? But yeah, as you look at the overall design, you can see that electric emanating. So while this doesn't have a typing listed for it, I guess it would be like water electric? Maybe ice electric? And first name, we could go with Iron Clamp or Iron Shell. As solid as this paradox design is, it is doable by Game Freak. It is in the vein of how they did Delibird. This could have been one. So that's if you're playing Violet, but in Scarlet, counterparting this is another solid design with some subtlety to it. And maybe y'all can tell what it is right off the bat. It is a metallic-like Pokemon, so it has all this metal dust at the top of its body and around the front. It's got these 4 giant arms with this extra armor on it. Its claws have expanded out. Instead of an X, it has this sharpened V with the spike at the bottom, and then it has those ancient eyes. It is a paradox of an ancient Metagross, which, if I put it side by side with a Metagross, it is realistic to exactly how Game Freak did like Slitherwing, Sandy Shocks, and Screamtail. It is called Anger Stomp, which sounds like what Heath would have called it. It doesn't have a typing listed, but since Metagross is Steel Psychic, I guess we could say this one is Steel Ground, which is actually an insane typing. It's why Excadrill is so good. It's also immune to poison and electric. And so I ask y'all the question, alright? If both of these were real, which version would you pick? And also, I picked these both as counterparts, the same way T-Tar is the counterpart of a freaking Magneton, which somehow looks cooler than the T-Tar. And I'm Tyranitar too. So yeah, just as these two are counterparts, you could totally see something like this happening. Alright, so now to take you back to simpler times. There was a moment where before Scarlet and Violet came out that a leaker came out and tried to leak all the Paradox Pokemon that were in the game. And they leaked that there was a future Tyranitar, which hyped me up to the max. And then this sucker... Now let's just revisit those simpler times and see what could have been. So take Sada's time machine, whether dream or not, we go back to the release of Scarlet and Violet. You're playing the game. Let's say at some point in the game early on, like a few gym badges in, Clavel brings you back to his office to talk to Sada and Turo, and they send you a photo from Heat's book saying, "We think this Pokemon escaped Area 0. It's a low-key mission. We want you to find it." And this is what she sends you, or he. And somewhere in the region, this thing is roaming. Of course, it is a massive future Godzilla T-Tar. Doesn't this bring a tear to your eye? This is what the freaking future Paradox Pokemon should have been. Monsters from the... Who the freak is this? I'm so ashamed to be related to this thing. I was gonna rename my second channel Iron Thorns too, but I just needed to see what it looked like. You know, it just takes you back to Heat. You know, I can't blame Turo for this, even if they are imagination Pokemon. If they are imagination, what type of future did Heath imagine? That's the best you could come up with? You think the Terminator's roaming in the future? One of them looks like that. Especially the one based off the Godzilla man, who knocks over mountains. He's not even scary enough to be a scarecrow. Y'all, I don't know what Game Freak was thinking, but imagine the story I told you was true, and this thing was real. Let's just say it's called Iron Thorns, and it still is a rock electric type, but it's much better this time. The truth is, when you look at the sketch, this is something Game Freak could do. It's not something unrealistic for Pokemon. I mean, think about it. These are the Ultra Beasts of Gen 9. They're supposed to be these weird mutants. Freaky even. That sucker not freaky. That thing. And it also has a take where it's on all fours to actually give Tyranitar a different look, a different character. You can't tell me, last point, you can't tell me the people in the future modified T-Tar and made him weaker. That's your ultimate cyborg. That's what Heath imagined. For F Heath. And then, I'm gonna freaking cry. And then the counterpart, this, you know, the Pokemon Violet future one, in Scarlet, if Sada sends you this. Now it's biased, I don't give a damn, but it's T-Tar again. But look at that freaking sketch. I'm over here. I'm pissed. This man looks savage and slim, like he rips T-Rexes apart. That could have been. Both of these could have been. We live in a world where the Scream Tail and the Delibird are my favorite paradoxes, if you discount the super ones. So look at this man. So first off, the vest, he's built in the Mega T-Tar because he used to be it. This is the version of Heat who made this has imagination. The man's tail is so spiked, he kills things without even knowing. He's 6 claws down, gripped to the floor. He assassinates wild Pokemon with his arm claws. Man's got football shoulder pads in case you try to tackle him. And there's a cool Super Saiyan like take to the spikes that are supposed to go down the back of his whole body, but instead they just stop at the top to act like this man is like some pretty boy monster. And then at the top he's even got these 2 horns. He's the devil roaming in ancient times. This dude could beat Roaring Moan. I don't care what you're saying. I'm not hard to satisfy, Game Freak. I like Scream Tail. I like Sandy Shocks. You did me so dirty. I can't even look at you. We'll call this thing like Stomp Tyrant. You know, if you can get Winged King for Koraidon, give this man a king name too. I got it. Tyrant Spike. Like Scream Tail. And the Tyrant is a play on him being Tyranitar in modern days. Alright, anyhow, y'all. So if both of these were real, in fact, no, if only one of these you could make real, and think carefully, which one would you pick? The Savage Past monster or the Godzilla Slayer future monster? Anyhow, I decided to end this video taking you to a goofy design just to cleanse your palate. So here's the silhouette here. Now don't judge my boy, okay? But he do got some issues. But this is how ugly the freaking prehistoric creatures look like. Just know he could rip your head off. So we begin with the long turkey legs. He is actually sitting down with a lot of meat on his thighs. He's got feathery spikes at the top of his bird chicken thighs. And also, if you look in the back, he's got another pair of talons, which connect to these long red feathers, which we'll explain this in a minute. But we go up to its body, which is normal, and then up a long neck, which leads to a Skarmory head. It is a paradox of a past Skarmory. Now, what's cool about this is it's described as a king. So when it lands, it can sit like that, where its back legs support it in a way that it looks like it's sitting as if on a throne. But when it glides, it would have a full wingspan. I tell you what, you'll say I'm lying. I'll take this sucker over Iron Thorns. Delete him out of the game. I'll take him. I'm calling Monster right now. So it's called Marble Beak. It is listed as a rock flying type to give a little pre-story to why Skarmory is steel. Though you would imagine Skarmory would be like steel in prehistoric times and then weaken to rock in modern times. Whatever, it's Heat's imagination. Look at that, it's called the King of the Jurassic Skies. But yeah, it's based off the ancient flying dinosaurs we love, pterosaurs. Anyhow, y'all, make sure you shank that like button. Let me know who you pick in the comments and do you side with me? The T-Tar was done so dirty. I got more designs to show you. I'll do that next time. Take care.